So today I want to do a lesson on the fretting hand, specifically on involuntary motion in the fingers, specifically the pinky. So one of the main reasons why this happens, really there's two major reasons. One is pronation, which is the rotation this way of the forearm. So especially if we're doing sort of the blues rock, pentatonic, electric guitar hold, especially if the neck is a lot lower than I currently have it. This is a tendency to have a sort of extreme pronation as the default position. You can see here my pinky is sort of way out. It's not unlike this kind of positioning where my fingers are all pointed actually on the strings like that. They're all pointed at it, right? When I go like this, my fingers are not all pointed at the guitar unless I curl them in a bit more. And even then, there's a sort of cascading angle. You can see right here, pinky's a bit further away. I know it's a little dark, but pinky's a bit further away, and we have like a triangle here, like 1, 2, and then 3, like that. I'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, triangle. Right? If we want things a little bit more level, we could do it like this, right? Now, what happens when people use pronation to lift the pinky? This is often like an assistance kind of move, right? So what they're actually doing is instead of moving from here, we're actually doing a little bit of this kind of twist. Sometimes with a little bit of like a down, the thumb kind of comes up, and we're actually doing a little bit of a scooping back. You might feel any sort of motion in the wrist when you do this, but it sort of turns into this. All right, and then you could see any sort of, this is compounded with any sort of extension in the finger that's held. So when we go like that, or all the fingers just sort of crash into each other and they're all extended, that's what that looks like. We see we have that pronation there. So there's my triangle of the pronation triangle, we can call it. But yeah, it makes it difficult to get the fingers back on to the string, right? In the case of, say, let's say we're doing one finger per fret and we're actually very level, we're more in the classical or universal style, I often call it, playing. Then let's say I actually have these fingers down, right? I have all the pressure on the fingers, but we're hearing the note of the pinky, right? So if I lift the pinky, right, and I do it where I'm keeping the amount of curl in the finger, so I've got this middle joint right here locked, and so this allows me as I move it to actually keep the finger pointed at the guitar. Okay, if the finger doesn't stay pointed at the guitar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock that joint and I'm going to extend it. Now, it's okay to have a little bit, or I should say it's very common, and it really doesn't affect playing all that much. If you're already playing in a very universal position, if the finger goes up a bit and points at the ceiling, that's fine, because depending on the angle that we have our fingers wrapped around, and also depending on your individual finger length, all affects this positioning, right? So ideally, we want to have the fingers pointed at the guitar, especially the pinky, pointed at the guitar, and then when I take it off, it has a level approach to it, like that. Okay? Now, one of the things that sort of really makes this much easier, and is really sort of a pro tip, is the idea of when I played the note, instead of just lifting, I'm going to do this with all the fingers right now. So instead of just lifting it, which makes the open string like that ring out, is to relax first. So what I'm actually doing is I'm stopping the pushing down of pressure. I'm allowing the string to pick my fingers up for me. And now the note is muted. So since the note is muted, now when I lift it, it's quiet. Okay, so I get, instead of this, hear the open string. We don't want that. Much better. So also now, I'm not trying to sort of swivel the hand or like anchor the hand on the index finger. I should say very common for especially players who start with the blues rock style, which was myself for sure. Started playing a lot of punk rock, but as soon as I started playing lead, it was all the stuff from the 60s, you know, so a lot of anchoring for the first finger. So without that, let's say I keep the first finger on, right? As I go to lift it, now the goal is to keep my fingers pointed at the guitar. So as I play the first string, there's my pinky note. As I go to lift it, instead of this, I want this. And this is done by simply focusing on this middle knuckle and allowing the fingers to still point at the guitar. Now, as I go play from string to string, especially if I'm going to the lower string with the pinky. The more that finger points at the guitar, the easier it is for me to actually get it back onto the guitar when I change strings with it. So hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have this specific problem yourself, just a small amount of work on the self-awareness really, really helps with it. So if you'd like any more of my help with your playing, please feel free to send me a message. Let me know the specific problem that you want my help overcoming. Thank you. Have a great night.